With all these politicians discussing affordable housing and homelessness, I find it absolutely disgusting that the Ford government has done nothing to address the appalling living conditions and management harassment. David Weiss, Life on Queen. Westwood Management submits their tenants through. Saddest part is that he gets away with it over and over. The Landlord-Tenant Tribunal issues him a mere $3,000 fine. A slap in the face to the affected tenants. The Toronto Star's reporter, Stephen Spencer Davis, has previously reported numerous times regarding David Weiss, the owner of multiple buildings on Queen Street East, operating as Life on Queen. For the last 9 years my wife has lived in one of his buildings. For that 9 years she has been promised numerous times that the various repairs would be attended to. If you are wondering why she has endured such for 9 years, it is due to being a disabled senior on a fixed income, and with the ridiculous high rents now in Ontario it is almost impossible for her to move. Here is a tidbit of what she has endured so far. Jennifer has resided at one of the Queen Street East buildings for 9 years now. Previously Jennifer was in a motel awaiting housing. Due to this she accepted the opportunity to obtain the apartment despite the need of numerous repairs. She had taken the promise of repairs as truth. She was extremely happy to finally obtain affordable housing. As anyone would be. When she took possession she was promised that they would be installing kitchen cabinets as there were none existing. Additionally, the management assured her that they would be repairing the bathroom floor as it is rotted out and the toilet is literally falling through the existing floor. The floor throughout the apartment is in very bad condition. In both the bathroom and the kitchen you can literally see into the tenant below her apartment. The building is one of 10 owned by Westwood Holdings, David Weiss, operating as Life on Queen. If you check the website ratethelandlord.org you will see numerous reports from tenants all with the same allegations. Here is the link. https://www.ratethelandlord.org/reviews. Westwood is constantly hiring new staff and not vetting any employee. The supers are constantly calling the tenants crazy and are troublemakers. Often laughing in their face and telling them that they will not get any repairs and told to move if they don't like it. On numerous occasions Westwood increased the rent. Even during the pandemic when rents were capped. The units are constantly invaded by pests and bugs. Jennifer was plagued with bed bugs for over 2 years before she finally eradicated them at her expense. She literally had to throw out all her furniture a few times. Sleeping on the floor and getting hundreds of bites nightly. No way of life for a disabled senior. The staff enter units unannounced with no prior notice. Management is constantly sending notices of pending eviction for non-payment of rent even though Jennifer's rent is paid directly. The present superintendent is harassing her daily by knocking on her door and calling her crazy and being very aggressive. When she complains to management it escalates. Today, May 1, 2023, Jennifer was told by her neighbors that while she was at the store they witnessed the super attempting to gain access to her unit. He was unsuccessful as he tried numerous keys and could not get in. Jennifer had not received any notice of entry. There was no emergency reason for the super to attempt entry without the proper 24-hour notice. He did not have any tools or materials, which leads one to wonder what his motive was. This is the same employee that knocks on her door to shout at her and will stand outside her window calling her crazy and such. It is severe enough that it has caused her to suffer anxiety and to fear what he may do next. With the recent attempt by him to gain entry while she was not at home, she now has safety concerns. The police say it is a matter for the Landlord-Tenant Tribunal. The LTB presently has a backlog of many months and in some cases over a year's wait. The previous superintendent was arrested for multiple serious outstanding warrants. There is a constant change of both maintenance and management staff. Often the management company will have tenants who are behind in their rent to do repairs in other tenants' apartments. Jennifer and the majority of the tenants have many more instances of improper actions from both management and staff. It would be suffice to state that David Weiss is, for lack of a better term, a slum landlord. It is no wonder that he named his company Life on Queen, because if a tenant attempts to get repairs or approaches management for any other reason they will be told to move out, called vulgar names and harassed until they literally become homeless and are actually living on Queen Street. Personally, I have heard the staff cursing and name-calling tenants many times. With all these politicians speaking about housing and rents, I find it appalling that not one person of authority has reached out to the numerous complaints tenants of these 10 buildings have filed. The provincial government governs the housing situations, and that, thanks to the Ford dictatorship, is 90% of the problem. Once Ford removed rent control and took away tenants' basic rights to have a safe and maintained home, he gave the landlords all the power to get away with situations such as this. Not to mention that due to the Ford regime, rents in Toronto and Ontario in general are now completely outrageous. There would be far less homeless people living on the streets if the city were to have control over housing issues. We have contacted numerous politicians. Any that do reply simply tell her to file a claim at the Landlord-Tenant Tribunal, which, as I have mentioned, at present has a backlog of many months and in serious cases over a year before being heard. This gives the landlord ample time to force the tenant out and cause them to become homeless. And by doing so allows David Weiss to raise the rent once again. The mayor's office forwarded Jennifer's correspondence to MPP McMahon. On behalf of Jennifer, I had previously contacted Ms. McMahon and received a reply that she will be contacting her by phone soon. Hopefully, the media will take notice and assist with getting these tenants assistance in receiving the repairs and safety we all expect from our landlords. All the tenants I have spoken to have the same complaints. In closing, I must say that I cannot believe how many professional and elected persons have simply passed the buck in regards to Jennifer's predicament. Especially when they are all appearing on television with their smiling faces saying how Toronto needs affordable, safe homes for the low-income residents. I ask that you write or call your MPP and insist that they address the deplorable way David Weiss, Life on Queen and Westwood Holdings are treating these tenants. It is time for everyone to speak up and with hope put an end to what the Ford government has allowed to happen. No one deserves to live in unsafe conditions or to be frightened by the management of their building.